Hey YouTubers, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to talk to you about quite a lot of medication I take, and I take quite a lot. I have several different illnesses that I've been diagnosed with, and I will do a separate video for each one of those and what I've been doing and my journey with those. But today is purely about the medication that I take. For the last year I've been taking colostrum. Now colostrum is to help with my immune support and to heal my intestinal problems such as my leaky gut syndrome that I have, and it's also to help with my fatigue. So I take half a teaspoon of this every morning with a small bit of water. Tastes a lot like baby milk. To be honest, I think it's hard to tell whether it's been working because I still suffer a lot with fatigue and occasionally with stomachache, but I started taking it when I went gluten-free for about 6 months. Going gluten-free didn't actually stop any of the problems I was having with my stomach, but since going back onto gluten and taking colostrum, I haven't suffered as much with a bad stomach. The other thing that I take for my leaky gut syndrome is slippery elm bark. Raw is what they call it. It literally is. I take a tablespoon of that mixed with water and a little bit of honey just because it tastes disgusting. That is good for replenishing the mucus lining of your stomach. That I've only been taking for about 3 months. Apart from it tasting really disgusting, I think I need to give it a lot more time before I judge it because I don't know whether it's working. These are the types of things I don't know whether they're 100% working or not because you need to have tests done, and I did have tests done on the bacteria and my gut last year and it showed I had some imbalances in bacteria. I'm not 100% sure whether these are fixing it until I do another test, and they're quite expensive. The other thing that I take for my stomach is I take one digestive enzyme before each meal. This is to help my stomach digest and process the food that I'm eating. So again, I've only been doing those for about 3 months. It's a bit of a chore to have to remember to do them before each meal, but I do try. I'm not still, again, I need to do tests in 3 to 6 months time to see whether they're working or not, but I haven't suffered half as bad with stomach conditions as I did before I started this regime. Now the other one that I take is a Multimineral. I take 2 of these half an hour before each meal, and I only eat 2 meals a day, so that's not that bad. The same with the digestive enzymes. I take 1 tablet half an hour before each meal with a glass of water. Now I take those because when I did some testing last year, the doctor from the States came over and did a blood sample analysis of my blood, and it showed that I had parasites and my white blood cells were puffed up to their capacity trying to fight off illnesses in my system, and it also showed that I have small amounts of crystals in my blood, which is bad. So the multi-minerals are there to help break down the crystals in the blood. Again, I'm not going to know whether it's working or not until I go back and have my blood analysed again, and hopefully we'll be doing that in the next couple of months, so I'll keep you updated with what the results are. The other things that I take on a daily basis, and I take these twice a day, are 5-HTPs. They're to promote good sleep and good mood. These are to increase my serotonin. When I first started taking these, it was really weird. I had some really weird dreams, but it seems to have eased off somewhat. So last year I had my hormones tested. My hormones were out of whack. I've just had a blood test done this week for my cortisol levels, and they are coming up, so it's much better now that I'm taking those. I also take Johns Wort. Now I take this on and off throughout the last 20 years because I do suffer with depression, and I've been on antidepressants from the doctor several times in my life, and I really found it quite difficult because you reach a certain level of antidepressant and it starts plateauing, and then you need to go up a dosage, and then it's just a vicious cycle. So I try and wean myself off them, and I've not tried to go back on them for a long time, so I do try and take St John's Wort when my mood is feeling low, and being quite ill all the time does make you quite low in your mood. The other thing that I take is, I told you, lots of things I take is magnesium. Everybody is magnesium deficient to a degree. I mean, you could be at the lower end. It's not something doctors test for. If you suffer with bad PMS, or if you suffer with heavy periods or irregular cycles, and I'm not saying this is going to 100% cure those, but I can say that since I started taking these, my PMS has reduced drastically to where I barely even notice I've got any PMS. I mean, I still suffer with hormonal acne, but I don't get the bloating, I don't get the stomach ache, and my periods have reduced in length and flow by half. So those things are a godsend, I have to say. The other thing that I take is iron tablets. Now, they're over-the-counter iron tablets. They're not prescribed by the doctor, so I do have my iron tested on a regular basis. I was on the low end of normal, so she said it's not worth prescribing anything, but it's best just to take a daily dose of iron just to keep up with my iron levels, because obviously my stores are quite low and that could be causing my fatigue. I do eat a lot of greens and I do eat a lot of red meat, just because with leaky gut, unfortunately my system cannot absorb all of the nutrients that I get from food, so I just have to top it up with some iron tablets. The next thing I take is milk thistle tablets. Now, I take those simply because with all the other medication that I take and the fact that I still eat carbs and gluten and sugar, my liver is probably under quite a lot of strain to process all of this stuff that I'm doing to it. So I take milk thistle just to help my liver function a little bit better. I also take Probiotic, which you keep in the fridge. It's got quite a lot of good bacteria in it. I only take that once a week because it's quite strong. When I first started taking it, and especially when I went gluten-free last year, I took 1 sachet every day. But it's quite expensive, so I only take 1 sachet once a week on a Saturday. But during the week, what I do for good bacteria is Kefir. It has been proven that if you have a small glass of Kefir each day, it will help balance out the bacteria in your stomach. I don't make it, but you can make it yourself. I try not to do things where I have to make them myself because it's just too much time and effort, and as you can see, all my medication takes up quite a lot of time already. I also take, now I don't take this all the time, and I take 1 drop a day. If I'm not going outside, if I'm not going to go in the sun at all, then I will take just a drop of vitamin D, because this helps promote good healthy bones. Now, all of this stuff, bearing in mind, I've only just started taking most of it recently, so it's quite hard to tell whether it's working or not. I do feel better than I did last year when I wasn't taking any of this stuff, but it's still too early to tell. Now, because I've got leaky gut, a lot of people would suggest cutting out sugar, cutting out gluten, cutting out a lot of bad stuff. I spoke to my doctor. He basically said he doesn't recommend people change their diets too much anymore. What he does recommend is taking 4 particular products. For me, I mean, he might suggest something different for you and your lifestyle. He knows I'm not very good at taking tablets, and as you can tell, I've already got a myriad of tablets to take. He gave me 4 products to take for my leaky gut, and this could be a long process to fix. Hopefully not too long, because it's quite expensive as well. So I will put a list down below of all the medication I take and links to where I normally would buy them from, and I'll do separate videos for each condition that I have and what medication I take for it. If you enjoyed this video, then please thumbs up and subscribe. Thank you very much for watching today. Hope you enjoyed the video. See you later. Bye.